Hey there, CENIMASTER fans! Hope you're ready for some movie magic. Let's dive right in. The movie starts in Japan in the year 1986 with the young Daniel, who is in Mr. Miyagi's house. He introduces him to his family and tells him they have a great history in the world of sports, especially in martial arts. In their family history, they have legends in karate and kung fu, including one named Sensei, who used to work as a fisherman. One day there was a storm, and the wave destroyed the boat he was on. The Han family saved him, took him in, and taught him kung fu in China. Because of what they did, they felt a great debt of gratitude to them, to the extent that they became like one family, even sharing a common motto. We then move to the present day in China, specifically in Beijing, at a kung fu gym with Coach Han. He is training his students and guiding them on their movements. Among the trainees is a young man named Lee, who is training alone. We learn that he is Coach Han's relative and favorite student. Suddenly, a little girl sees Dr. Lee's mother and goes to inform her coach. He asks her to delay her until he can hide her son. When she calls for him, he hides, while the little girl keeps stalling the doctor. The doctor says, "I know Han asked you to do this." Han replies, "No, I didn't tell her anything." But the little girl says, "No, you did tell me that," embarrassing him in front of her. At that moment, her son was watching from afar. She tells Han, "I don't want to blame you, but honestly, I can't bear to lose another son like I lost his brother, who died. And all this because of a game." She gives him 2 tickets, one for Lee and one for her son, and tells him to inform her son, who is listening to them now, that they will travel to New York because she will work at a hospital there, and he will go with her. Her son comes out and tells her, "I don't want to leave my homeland. I want to live here." She replies, "There's no time for this talk. Get ready, because we are traveling tomorrow." Indeed, they head to New York, get out of the taxi, take their bags, and go up to their apartment. At night, Lee looks at a picture of himself and his brother, feeling very sad because he misses him so much. After a while, he tells his mother that he will go out to get food for dinner. He walks through the streets, looking at the roads and places, and enters a pizza shop. He orders pizza from the shop owner, Victor, but Victor and his friend make fun of him. The shop owner's daughter, Mia, apologizes to him and tells him that her father and his friend like to joke around. She takes his order and they laugh and joke together. The next day, his mother tells him that when he gets to school, there will be a teacher waiting for him to explain everything about the tests he will take, and he must pass all of them. He takes the subway and arrives at school, where the teacher explains everything to him. Because the new country is unfamiliar, he struggles to adapt to life there at first and feels strange and lonely. On his way home, he sees Mia and helps her because she dropped her things. He asks, "Do you remember me?" She replies, "Yes, you're the pizza guy." They talk for a while and she notices that his English is good. He tells her that when his mother worked in Hong Kong, he studied at an American school there. He learns about her situation and offers to accompany her to the place she is heading to. They walk together and see a karate gym. She asks him not to think about joining that place. The coach, O'Shea, asks her, "Why isn't your father answering me?" He tells her to let her father know that he will get what he is owed. When Lee asks her who that is, she tells him that he is the owner of the karate and boxing gym and that her father owes him money they can't repay. Inside the gym, a young man named Kai is training. O'Shea tells him that it seems his girlfriend has forgotten him and started a new love story. Kai gets upset. At that moment, Mia is at a Chinese shop to buy equipment for the restaurant. The shop owner refuses to give her a discount, but when Lee speaks to her in Chinese, he convinces her to lower the price. She agrees to a $150 discount. When Mia asks him how he managed to do that, he says, "We have a tradition that we respect anyone who speaks our language." He asks her, since he is new to New York, to take him on a tour and show him the places around. He tells her that this would be a way to repay the favor he just did for her. She agrees. At night, his mother asks him how his day was at school. He says it was good. When she asks if he made any friends, he tells her he met a girl named Mia. The next day, Mia takes him around the city on her scooter, and they have fun. Suddenly, the scooter breaks down. They take the subway and laugh together, but Kai shows up and ruins the moment. Mia tries to avoid the situation because she knows Kai is violent and out of their league. She asks him to move aside so they can pass, but he refuses. Lee tells him, "Listen to her." Kai sarcastically replies, "Okay, boss," but as he passes, he punches Lee in the eye, closing it. Mia keeps apologizing and explains to him that she used to be in a relationship with Kai. She tells him that Kai's entire life revolves around training and that he's been practicing karate since he was a little boy. No one in the city can stand up to him, and he always wins the 5 Boroughs tournament. Lee asks her, "What is this tournament?" She explains that it is a crazy karate championship held in the city's streets, and the winner gets $50,000. She asks him why he is asking about it and if he plans to participate. He replies, "How can I participate with this eye?" Victor helps him by applying makeup to his eye so his mother doesn't notice. He tells him that he was a former boxer and the most famous one in the city. He always won the tournament held there. Victor advises him to put ice on his eye before sleeping and then a tea bag afterward. He assures him that he will be fine when he wakes up. The next day, when his mother sees his injury, she says, "I didn't bring you here to get into fights." Lee replies, "I had to do it." She tells him that they are the ones who make decisions. They arrive at the library where they meet the teacher, Alan, who is supposed to teach him science and sports to help him pass the upcoming tests. However, his level is very low, and Alan is unimpressed. He tells him, "We need to work hard in the coming period because at this rate, you'll be sent back to your country." At night, Lee holds a picture of his brother and remembers when he used to perform the dragon move in front of him. When he tries to do it himself, he fails and falls. The next day, Victor meets him and provokes him. Lee pushes him, and Victor says, "I will fight with you with my legs." He is able to dodge all his attacks and is very skilled in martial arts, but he can't defeat him. Then he remembers when his brother taught him the dragon move. He does it to him, but he hits him with his leg and throws him to the ground. He tells him, "Victor, I'm waiting for you at the 5th biology competition, but there, no one will protect you." On his way home, he takes the competition announcement. At night, he goes out to fix his mother's scooter, but a gang comes to beat him up for Victor. Victor tells him to go home because what he's going to do to them, he won't be able to handle. But he gets hit on the head and falls down. Here, Libby bares his teeth and shows them who he is. The fight starts, and the gang can't handle him. He does Jackie Chan's moves, and the fighting is intense. They can't catch him, but he falls on a car's glass, gets up again, does a spinning move, and makes things better. They run away quickly. Victor tells him, "I was supposed to protect you, not the other way around." In the restaurant, Victor tells him, "I want you to tell me what happened outside." He tells him he was being beaten because he fell asleep on his coach Han's hand, and he's the one who taught him all these moves. Victor tells him he took money from Coach Asha, but unfortunately the payment deadline has passed. He says, "I don't have the money right now. I knew this would happen, and that they'd take their right by force." They realize they'll be in trouble for a while. He takes him inside and shows him his achievements in life, that he was the most famous person here, but unfortunately, he left boxing because of his daughter. He wanted to raise her, so he opened this restaurant to provide for her. But sadly, it looks like he'll have to close it. He tells him a friend said he could arrange a boxing match for him, and if he wins, he'll get more money than his debts. He asks him to help teach him some kung fu moves to add to his boxing, but he says he promised himself long ago never to fight again because something happened he can't forget. The next day, his mother takes him to the temple. They make wishes and he talks to his coach. He tells him he's very tough and all his friends ask about him. He says, "I want to ask you a question. A friend wants to train in kung fu, but I refused." The coach asks if kung fu would benefit him. He says yes. The coach tells him, "If anyone asks you for help, never hesitate for a moment to give it." He goes to the restaurant and tells him he watched him training and that he's very weak, his punches are slow, and he needs a coach to guide him. He agrees to train him. He goes into the storeroom and says, "I want to see your level again, and based on that, I'll decide where to start." He says, "At this age, I'll fight someone who weighs 30 kilos. He beats him up, tires him out, gives him a hit, and puts him aside. Then Mai comes in, upset because her father will go back to fighting, something she completely refuses because she's afraid for him and can't live if something happens to him. Her father promises her nothing will happen and he must play the match to pay off their debts and live in peace again. She is forced to agree. He begins his training, tells him about Kung Fu, shows him pictures from his training, and a photo of Master Han. He tells him the shop is Kung Fu, and boxing is also Kung Fu. He starts teaching him moves and how to be fast and dodge his opponent easily. But the training is tough for Victor, even making pizza in a training way. He trains him in the metro and teaches him the one-sight strike, but at first, he can't do it. He keeps training, works with them in the restaurant, and Mai is happy. Days pass in training, and Victor's level improves. One day when he goes home, he finds his mother sleeping next to his brother's picture. He keeps training, upset, but Victor comes and asks what's wrong. He tells him he can't get over the past, even though in China there's a saying, when someone dies, you must open the doors and windows to clean the death from inside you. But he couldn't do that. He tells him what happened in his brother's last hour, when they won the championship and were going home together. But the person they beat wanted revenge. Many people attacked them, kept beating them. Someone pulled a knife, and his brother asked for help, but he couldn't save him, and he died. Since then, he's felt guilty because he could have helped, but couldn't. The next day, he sits with Alan, and Mai asks them to come to the festival in town that day. They agree. Alan asks, "Are you just friends or something more?" He says, "No, we're just friends, nothing more." At the festival, while walking, he sees her standing with Kai, laughing together. He gets upset and tells his friend, "Didn't I tell you we're just friends?" On the day of the match, she calls him, but he ignores her. She says, "I feel like I did something to upset you. Please tell me." He says, "You told me there's nothing between you and Kai." She says, "I convinced him that he has nothing to do with me because now I love you." He's happy when he hears this. They go to the ring. Victor goes up and the referee gives instructions. The match starts. The opponent is strong and toys with him at first. His hand is numb, and he takes a beating mercilessly. Victor keeps getting beaten and can't handle it. He was about to win, but the player breaks the rules and keeps hitting him until he loses consciousness. They rush him to the hospital. At that moment, he remembers his brother and couldn't enter the hospital, and his mother assures him she'll do the impossible to make sure his friend is okay. When he goes home, he cries, feels despair and suffocation. Master Han calls him, but he doesn't answer. One day, when he comes home, he feels something strange in the house. There's a thief, and they both fight, grabbing pots and hitting each other. But the thief is very strong and fast and he can't beat him. Then we discover it's Master Han. His mother is upset because he came, knowing his presence isn't a good sign. He sits with him in the room, holds the tournament announcement paper, and Han tells him, "It's not a shame to fall and go through hard times, but the real shame is to stay defeated." The next day, they visit Victor. Mai is upset. He apologizes to Victor, but Victor tells him, "Don't worry, the restaurant and the house will be sold, and they will go live in another cheaper city because Ashia won't leave them alone." So Han tells him, "In China, we have a saying, your friend's problem is your problem, and you are our friend." But he asks, "How are we going to help him?" Han says, "The competition is in 10 days, and you will participate in it." He asks him to find a place for him to train in during the next 2 days. Han says he'll run an errand and come back. He arrives in Japan at Mr. Miyagi's house and meets Daniel, introduces himself and tells him the teacher has died. Han says he knows, but he came for Daniel. He shows him their picture together from 1985 and tells him he was his dearest friend. He tells him that Mr. Miyagi spoke a lot about the boy Daniel, him, and said that if Daniel ever needed anything, he would do it for him. That's why Han needs a favor, for Daniel to come with him to New York to train Lee in boxing. Daniel apologizes, saying he can't leave the place because it means everything to him. Han tells him he'll be waiting and not to be late. At that moment, helps them find a place to start training. Han begins teaching him new secrets about Kung Fu that he's never known before. He asks him to be quick in his movements, has him play with his stomach, hang the jacket, and take it off until he's exhausted. We find out he barely convinced his mother to let her son participate in the competition. The training continues, his diet becomes healthy, and he keeps practicing on the wooden board until his hands give out. Daniel arrives and tells Han he couldn't refuse a request for his teacher's friend. Both of them give Lee useful information for fighting. He tries a move with Han but can't do it, and the training continues. One day, while standing with Han, Lee tells him that Mia won't talk to him and he wants to make up with her somehow. While she's at the restaurant, a worker asks her to deliver a pizza. She rides her bike to where Lee is, and he apologizes in his own way, telling her he's entering the competition not for himself but for her, because she means a lot to him. Honestly, he can't accept that she'll leave the city. The first round of the competition begins. Each round is decided by 8 points or a knockout. A body hit is 1 point, a head hit is 2 points. The first round starts, and Lee takes the first hit, but he gets up and makes his move, ending the first round with a knockout. Han and Daniel keep fighting with each other, leaving the boy alone and not training him because each believes his own sport is more important. The rounds continue, and our hero keeps winning. Kai is ruthless with everyone he faces. Victor gets out of the hospital and goes to the restaurant, asks his daughter about Lee, and she tells him he joined the competition for his sake. At that moment, Lee is fighting someone from Kai's team and beats him, but the others want to attack him, not knowing that Han and Daniel are with him. They start beating up the gang while their student watches. Only the final match is left, which will be in a week. The next day, Lee's mother asks about her son, and Han tells her everything is fine, but her son is missing one thing, her. Daniel explains that Kai fights like a tiger. He asks, "Do you know the best way to defeat a tiger?" Set a trap for it. They teach him new moves, but he gets beaten up badly, unable to keep up, getting hit by Daniel from one side and Han from the other. He's exhausted and begs them to stop, but they keep going. One day, Daniel sees him trying the dragon move and tells him he can't use it in the match because he's already used it before and got hit. Daniel says, "That's the trap we'll use with this move." They take him to the subway to practice reversing the move. This time, instead of jumping up, he'll drop down. He tries to pass a barrier but keeps failing and repeating it, still not getting it. He rides the bike with them and struggles because it's uphill, but when he loses focus, he spins the bike and gets off. His level improves so much that he can fight them both and becomes very fast. Finally, he masters the move. The day of the final match arrives. His mother comes to support him. She asks him to win the match. Daniel ties the Miyagi family emblem on his hand and Han's too because now he represents them both. He walks through the crowd, remembers his brother, and goes on stage. Victor comes to support him, and the referee gives them instructions. The match starts between the champions, but Kai is on another level. Lee is like a student to him, and he hits him easily. Lee is getting beaten badly, as if he hasn't trained at all, and Kai takes 4 points from him in seconds. But Lee gets up and tells him he'll win this match, not anyone else. He gathers his strength, attacks, and gets his first point. Kai gets angry, which is exactly what's needed. Lee manages to dodge his hits, makes some moves, and gets 4 points from him. Both are cautious, exchanging points. Then Kai hits Lee in the head, and he loses consciousness. The referee counts, but Lee remembers his brother, gets up again, and the score is 7-7, only 1 point left. Lee decides to use the move that got him beaten years ago. He does it, and Kai expects the old move, but Lee tricks him and shows him the new move, ending the match 8-7. Kai tries to hit him, but Lee grabs him and could have destroyed him, but refuses because that's not the way he was raised. Finally, Lee wins the match and the $50,000 prize. Everyone celebrates him, and his whole family is happy. Days pass, and he works with his girlfriend at her father's restaurant, which is now packed with customers. They send a pizza to Japan to Mr. Daniel, who thanks him for his help and support. He shows it to his friend Johnny, who says, "Should we open a pizza place and use the Miyagi family name as a marketing tool?" Johnny says, "You've drunk too much." If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.